folklores are alive. They sprout within humans. Sleep of woman, the man under the bed, the fish with human face. They are all folklores. They sprout within humans, growing to adulthood, and so beauty can be quite disgusting. That story is blooming. This is the story of Algorithm. Hello, my name is Melnibonean Menschklavier, and welcome to my review of Hanako to Guuwa no Tera. The manga that we will look at today is a mystery horror aimed at shonen demographic, written by Sakura Esuno, the author of Mirai Nikki, and published in Shonen Ace between December 2003 and to September 2005. And on two people discussing the man under the bed urban legend. Hey, have you ever heard of the man with an axe under the bed? What's that? There is this girl who threw a sleepover for her friend. Yeah, they were just making small talks at the time, but then all of a sudden, her friend to get out of the room right away. Why? Her friend told her that she spotted something under the bed of the room they were just in. There was some man hiding there. The actual first chapter begins with a young woman in front of a detective's office, which she got from a person called Hanako on an internet chat room. Soon she meets a detective who invites her to his office. As she is following him, we see that someone is observing her from behind the door. Once inside, the detective introduces himself as Asao Daisuke and expresses relief that finally he has a normal client, and they start talking. Asao notices that she looks like she has not slept for days, to which she responds, "If I just fell asleep, I will be killed." Asao gets a hiccup which causes him to suddenly back off and proclaim, "You don't tell me you are not a normal guy." The girl at first came after hearing rumors about him dealing with supernatural causes, something that Assault tries to deny. But she insists. After hearing about the legend from her friend, she describes how she started to see weird things under her bed, making her think about the legend. She has not slept for days, afraid that the man under the bed will kill her. Assault then says, "You are being warned by the allegory." Explains what an allegory is: a story possessing a supernatural power to make its content into the reality. He also states that when he gets near an allegory, he can't stop having hiccups. Suddenly the girl starts crying, saying that she realizes that she is beyond saving and that a soul be with her and that's all she needs. After the girl has left, the door to the toilet opens, revealing that it was Hanako. Hanako is based on an urban legend called Hanako of the Toilet. I will not describe the legend since I think everybody who watches this video knows how to Google. So asks Hanako why she would tell the girl about the agency. She responds, "Well, you see, she was really troubled when I found her in the chat room." She then calls Aso a complete failure, both as a detective and as a man. Aso responds that he is not used to this kind of stuff, which prompts Hanako to ask, "You mean real girls?" She then throws a cell phone at him, saying that he's not healthy to surround himself with Manga. Aso tries to phone her, the girl, but to his horror, she does not pick up. When then we then see the Kanai in her room, and we see that the man below the bed is slowly creeping out. Also, who is outside on a scooter going to Kanaya's place to save her from the allegory. Back at Kanaya's, our detective comes to her rescue in the nick of time, and it's revealed that he is possessed by two allegories. One having consecutive hiccups and die, and Hanako herself. The last page shows that Kanaya has started working for Asuo to pay off the money she owes him. Manga, which has Asuo, Kanaya, and Hanako starting a closet involving allegories. The usual scenario is that some situation in the client's life has caused them to become possessed by allegory. For example, the second chapter features a tall girl with a big mouth, which is in her getting bullied, and becoming possessed by Kurisaki on an allegory. And the allegory is exercised by the girl's boyfriend admitting that he does not find her cute, but he likes her for other reasons. There are nine urban legend references by stories in the manga. The Man Under the Bed, Kujisake Onna, The Fishman, The Devil in the Mirror, The White Thread, Teke Teke, Akagami Aogami, Kokuri-san, Woman in the Gap, and The Married Doll. There is also a short crossover chapter with Mirai Nikki, which suggests that more from Mirai Nikki is actually an allegory. Can I? Uh, as a viewing character, we see a lot of her internal thinking. Also, she's a newcomer character. A person who is new to the world, that is described in a world of fiction, allowing the audience to have things explained to them in a non-controlled way in a story. For example, in the Kuchisake Onna chapter, she asks about what happened if you just answer yes to the second "Am I beautiful?" question. In the Marido arc, it is revealed that she comes from a rich family, so why it is that she does not have any money to pay for her services in the first chapter. Well, it seems that him saving her made her develop a crush for him. Well, she's never described as being below 18, so as we are given insight to her inner thinking, we see what she feels in a situation. For example, her terror when she thinks that Aso and Hanako have died, or fear that our aforementioned crush on Aso is unrequired. Overall, she's an okay character. There is not to dislike about her, but there's not that much to like. He's introduced as this character that is kind of scared of supernatural but deals with it anyway. However, this aspect of his character is gradually dropped, though the goofiness of his character remains, such as another aspect of his character is that he's collecting of Naughty manga, which makes his character somewhat endearing. Besides that, there is also his past as police detective, and that he is often called by them to investigate crimes tied to allegories. This leads to some interesting interaction between him and his partner. Overall, an okay character like Kano and the manga star Hanako. There are two major things to talk about her, and the first one is her technology skills and obsession with it, as well as her dislike for animals. Who is she unable to interact with since she is an allegory? See her interact with technology with such a choice is incredibly endearing. Showing that animals pass through her is really sad. The other one is her relationship with Kanai and Asu. She essentially acts as like a darker or a little sister to them, and any interaction between the three of them is really heartwarming. The art. The art is decent, it's very dynamic and expressive, however, sometimes it is too expressive leading to some Hanako expressions looking pretty psychotic. One thing I really liked was this manga design of Kuchisake Onna. The idea of her mouth extending along the dance is pretty cool looking and original. Also, Kuchisake Onna is my favorite Japanese urban legend. Spoiler warning. I am going to discuss the series ending, so if you do not want any spoilers, go to the time stamp on the screen right now. Did it? Good. So, a couple of times in this manga, a mysterious woman appears. For example, placing flowers on Asu, awakening his folklore detective persona. Strange, isn't it? But before that, we have to learn something about our detective past. Turns out that Hanako of the toilet is based on a child claimed he had while staying in the hospital who died from undisclosed illness. The regular Hanako then decides to stay by his side as long as he will still need her. By the way, the scenes with them bonding are some of the most touching in the manga, or the ones when Hanako Haruno final fate is revealed also and come to pass or to most heartbreaking. Time Kanaya meets the strange Renji, who is a writer by the way, and says that Aso ex fiancée Tachibana Mafuyu, who resembled the writer lady, is dead, so the writer asks her who she believes, her or Aso. Meanwhile, we see Hanako in bed, seemingly sick, saying, the end is coming. We see the trio having fun times together, during which Kanai asks about the book he and Hanako Haruno read in the hospital. But Aso says he lost it. Suddenly, Hanako gazes to the sky and starts crying. Then she starts disappearing, saying that since yesterday she felt getting weaker and weaker and cannot maintain her body anymore. She then says that the reason she existed was safe as would then disappear. She then says farewell, ready to disappear, but Aso hugs her, making her reappear, and says that he will live with both Kanae and Haruko by his side. However, the writer woman, who is revealed to be Tachibana Maifuyu, reveals that she writing story and Hanako must disappear. So she shoots some sort of laser thingy from her book, which hits Hanako and makes her disappear. She then teleports them to the hospital, in which Aso first met with the first Hanako and says, "Welcome for World Detective to the story file setting." She then says that she is the author of this world and messenger of the end of this allegory, and that her name is the Teller of Allegory. States that the Assault is the one who died, not her, and that she wrote a novel basing the protagonist on him. Then the story starts being spread on forums, giving the rise to Allegory Assault. He and Teller start to fight, with the Teller saying that she longs to finish the story, foreshadowing, and tells Kanae to not overdo herself for imaginary friends, but Kanae says that even if the work is an illusion, she will only believe also prompt the writer to run around about that or the other and cause the so-called reader. Sabo. So smashes Claire's head, allowing Canal to grab the book, but the book is already finished. She then causes the book, causing the hospital to crumble, and Kanae falls immediately to her death. However, she is saved by the apparition of original Hanako, who appears to her saying that Aso still exists in this world, asking if she believes her or the teller. Cut to the teller sitting on a piece of rubble, talking to her publisher. Kanaya walking up to her and the teller attempting to kill her with a gun, but Kanaya shoots herself with the book she received for original Halako. Then the allegory reversal, I think that happens after allegory is vanquished, which is the disappearance of any and all effect allegory. Allegory has an world, generating a building being built into place, and when the Terran is about to kill Kanai, Saul steps out of the car and punches one writer woman. He then reveals that there was really a coincidence between the book and the reality. The trilogy between him and original Hanako, and that he was inspired by the book to start his own detective agency. He says that he is a big fan of her book, but he and Hanako aren't allegories born from the book, and that she can't erase them. He then states that when the story leaves our hands, it belongs to the reader. He then tells the teller that he got the book from his mom 20 years ago. She got it 10 years earlier, and the book itself was written even earlier, asking her, "Just how old are you? You are." Uh, After hearing all of this, starts to literally crack and her joy unravels, prompting Assault to ask, "Who is the real allegory?" The detective agency of Assault had headquarters built where the old hospital was before. They go inside, and Hanako jumps out of the toilet. And so the story of manga about stories ends with a story about relationship between storyteller and storyteller. Quite fitting, don't you think? Hanako no Guuwa no Tera is a decent manga. The theme of the stories, especially Yugen folklore as allegories for struggles that people face, is done fairly well, and the art and characters are pretty good. Final verdict: 4 out of 10.